Dolly Parton, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure to be with you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm anxious to talk about everything you want to talk about.
Well, what was the place of music and Christmas in your family when you were growing up?
Well, actually, our music was mountain music, bluegrass music, a lot of the same music that we have here in the show. All the songs that talked about the Christ's birth and all that, and all the favorite Christmas songs that we love, like Jingle Bells. Even in your country versions, you know all the Christmas songs. But with our music in general, it was all country based.
Well, as you look at the story of A Christmas Carol, which is so universal, how did you find your way into it for what you knew from growing up and where you lived?
Well, everybody knows the story of Scrooge, and everybody knows a Scrooge, and we knew him too. But actually, when I got involved in this show, it was because of Paul Couch, who's producing the show, and he was our entertainment director for many years at Dollywood. He came to me with this idea some years ago and said, would you be interested in writing the story of Scrooge, and let's make it kind of an Appalachian mountain story. And it's certainly something I could relate to with the poor people in the mountains and all that. And so it just went on from there, and now here we are, seeing another dream come true.
Well, what about the story of redemption? How did that marinate with you as you were writing the music here?
Well, the story of redemption is always good. You want to write all those songs about people and how they are the way they are and why they are that way, because no matter how people are, something's usually caused them to be bad if they are, like even Scrooge. And that was one of the things I loved about our version of it, is we told how Scrooge got to be the way he was. And in our version, it's about the Appalachian man, and that he was a coal miner. He owned all the mines, and but he didn't have a good life growing up either.
It's an excuse for forgiving things that are unforgivable, for buying things you can't afford, and for pretending the world ain't a miserable and hard place. It's a load of sentimental claptrap.
So we kind of wanted to show all that and how he got to actually redeem himself at the end of the show. And I really enjoyed writing all those songs, the bad stuff and the good stuff. And so I love getting into the characters, and I just become whoever I'm writing about as a writer. I was Scrooge a lot of the time, and I was down in his old bad self, but I also understood how he wanted to be better and actually became better. So I just love the story of redemption and where everything turns out good in the end.
Well, you just described something. I wonder how you write. And do you get into characters? I mean, how do you find your way into stories?
Well, I read the story. I know what the stories are. For instance, when I wrote the musical 9 to 5 for Broadway, I got into, the same way I got into Scrooge, I got into Mr. Hart, because that character was like a mean old character. But I've just become, I thought, well, I've got to write really bad stuff. I got to really write from a mean old place. So, and the only way to do that, you just kind of have to get inside that character. But I was a little, Tiny Tim as well.
Those treasures are so glorious that I can see but I can't touch.
I was all the people in the story of this Smoky Mountain Christmas Carol, and all the ghosts and all the people that were coming back. I just kind of take it on and just kind of put myself in that, in that character. And that's fun for me, because I know when I write, I act it out too. When I first did the musical 9 to 5, I'd never done anything for stage. And I realized how much I loved it as a writer, that you really could become the character, and you didn't have to worry about it being on the radio. You didn't have to worry about it being a minute or 2 or 2 minutes, and you didn't have to chop it up. You could just say what you wanted to say until you said what that character needed to get across. So I love that. So I really have enjoyed writing for the stage.
Well, moving away from the stage, for your songs, do you put yourself in a position to create, or do you wait for it to come to you? I
just live with rhymes in my head, and music, everything I hear, even a rhythm, somebody walking around clicking on, in the kitchen, cleaning dishes, I always got to pick up on some sort of a rhythm. So I just actually am musical like that, and I always have had the gift of rhyme. I love it when people come to me with a story to say, will you write this? And when I did the 9 to 5 and when I did the Smoky Mountain Christmas Carol, when people expect you to do something, you try to rise to the occasion. When you're left on your own, I just write what I feel like. But when you're commissioned to do something, you really have to think about what they need, what the character needs to be, what you really, what's commercial or what'll be fun for the audience. You really have to consider a whole lot of things when you're writing for stage that you don't have to when you're working, just making a record. or something for radio.
Well, do you feel pressure? Do you put pressure on yourself?
Yeah, I put pressure on myself but not unnecessary pressure. It just makes me want to work hard. There's time limits. It makes me think, well, I have to get up and really go to work. I can't slouch around here. I'm on their time more than mine now. So I really take all that into consideration. But it really kind of gives me a kick in the butt a little bit more than if I was just waiting around to do it my own way in my own time. And in a way, that's good, because I want people to know I'm a serious person about my work and that I'm going to get the job done if I told you I would do it. And not only do I want to get the job done, I want you to be proud of it, and I want you to be proud of me. So it really has a lot of elements to it, but it's all good.
Well, thinking about where you live and one of the places you live and where you grew up, what place does place have in your songwriting? Do you have to be out in nature?
No, I don't. I live inside my head and inside my memories. Thank God for memories. There's an old song called Precious Memories, Unseen Angels.
Precious memories, how they linger.
And there are so many unseen angels that kind of walk through my mind all the time. It takes me back to my childhood. So all I really have to do is to really just kind of sit and concentrate, and I can go anywhere in my imagination and in my memories and in my mind. Now, I do love it when I get a chance, especially when I was writing for this. I did spend a lot of time on a lot of these songs when I was in my old mountain home. I go up and visit my kinfolk. So some of these songs were written back in my old home place, and I purposely did that, because I live in Nashville now, but I still go home to East Tennessee, which is 200 miles east, up there to my old country home. And so a lot of these Christmas things were written from there.
Appalachian snowfall, calling out to one and all. In spite of all our troubles, it holds enchantment still, always will.
You must have given thought over the years at how this comes to you, and you've written more than 5,000 songs at this point.
Well, I don't really count them. People ask me all the time. I said, well, I've been writing since I was 7 years old. I'm seriously writing songs, and I write all the time. So I said I must have 3, 4, 5 million songs by now. Not all of them good. I've got probably 3 good ones, but I just love to do it because I'm from a musical family. All my mother's people were very musical. So I grew up with everybody playing instruments and singing and writing songs, singing in the church. So music is just a huge part of my whole being. And so it's easy for me to write, and I love doing it, but it's not a hard process for somebody that just is born to do it.
Well, what does the expression part of it mean for you, to be able to tell these stories, and as you just mentioned, take other people's stories and be able to tell them?
Well, it's fun, actually. I thank God a lot. You know, when I'll be writing something and I'll think, well, thank you. I never thought of that on my own. I kind of feel like I have like some help from out there, you know. But it does make me feel good and proud of myself when I come up with something that people seem to enjoy, and that I feel like that I can do more than just write for myself, that I can write for other people as well. And that's been fun for me, writing for the Smoky Mountain Christmas Carol and taking all those characters that everybody already knows and loves, and they know all the songs that people do, and to just do your own take on it. It's just kind of fun. It's just kind of like repainting a famous picture or adding your own little deals to it, but kind of making it your own and making it, for me, I knew these people. I know how we grew up, and this particular story is based during the Depression. Our whole life was depression as far as like how we grew up not having money or things that you could buy at the store. So we learned to live off the land. We learned to, for Christmas, we had homemade toys, and our mom and dad would make their things, and we were lucky if we got a store-bought toy. But we had so much joy and so much fun making things for each other and for our neighbors, and making our tree and all that. So it's kind of the same with me as putting this whole show together.
Well, do you remember the first time, going back to when you were 7, as you just mentioned, did you feel like something cracked open for you when you understood that you had this ability?
Well, actually, I wrote my first song when I was 5. before I could write or even knew my mama kept it. It was about a little cob doll, but I learned to play guitar. I started playing guitar when I was 7. And so after I learned those chords on the guitar, I would hear everybody sing and talk about stories about the war, talking about things that happened. Mama used to sing all those old songs from the old world brought over, you know, from England and Ireland and Scotland, all those great old songs like Banks of the Ohio and Knoxville Girl.
Go there, you Knoxville girl with dark and rolling eyes.
I would just kind of remember all that and then tag stuff to what we were living. So I was able to rhyme stuff, so I would just write about our life and my life and the things I saw around me and would just create stuff, and it was a joy for me.
You've talked a lot about fun, but how do you know when you have a lyric that you really have hit it, that something so poignant?
Well, you don't really know. If everybody knew what made a hit record, we'd all be rich and famous, wouldn't we? Every singer, writer. But there are times when you write songs and you really feel like that you really wrote something good. For instance, like I Will Always Love You, when I wrote that song, it came from my heart, but I also knew that was a good song, simple but heartfelt, and I knew it had a melody that you could sing it little or you could sing it big. It's the kind of song you can sing emotional.
And I will always love you.
You know when you write a song like Jolene, if you enjoy them, but then you'll write a song like Coat of Many Colors, which is my personal favorite.
In my coat of many colors, Mama made for me.
But you don't know if other people will relate to that or not because it's so personal. They did, of course, because of me, but you never know how other people are going to take to the song. You just know in your heart if you personally like it or you think, yeah, I think people, you know, you kind of go by, like a Jolene, for instance. That's such a singable song. Every garage band in the world, it's been recorded more than anything I've ever written, believe it or not, more than any song, even 9 to 5. Jolene has been recorded.
Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
Because it just says the same thing over and over. Jolene, 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 Jolene. How hard can that be? So you just just hope for the best when you're writing. And sometimes, like you said, you just know when you've hit on one and you hope it sticks.
Do you take it personal? Do you care what people think when you put the music out?
Well, yeah, I care. You always care. You hope everything you write's a hit. You know how you always love all your kids, and some of them are prettier than others, and some of them do better than others. But they're all personal to you. All my songs are personal. But I'm not offended if they're not all hits. I'm always curious to see what's going to hit. Some of my very favorite songs have never been the biggest hits. They've been album cuts, songs like Down from Dover.
I know this dress I'm wearing doesn't hide the secret I have tried concealing.
Gypsy Joe and Me, songs that people have never even heard.
We never did allow no roots to grow beneath our feet.
And so it's really, to me, it depends on how I feel about it. They're all hits with me because they're mine. They're my kids. I always say my songs are my kids, and I expect them to support me when I'm old. And some of them have.
I think they have.
Yeah.
And finally, you're having a moment right now. There's the podcast, there's the Dolly verse that everybody talks about. I think you're giving Oprah a run for her money because people talk about you as an angel, a saint. I heard you say Dolly Mama. That's what your family calls you?
Yeah, my friends call me the Dolly Mama, and my brothers and sisters, a lot of them just kid me about that. But I've been around a long time. I think people relate to me. I feel like a member of their family, like Aunt Dolly, or like an older sister, because people kind of grown up with me, and their kids have grown up with me. I've been around a long time doing a lot of different things. I've been in the movies, been on television, even been in little shows like Hannah Montana. So I have a younger following too, and I work a lot with children through the Imagination Library. So I just love people. I accept everybody for who and how they are, wherever they are.
Do you feel it's different? It's more than just being around, I think. Though lots of people have been around for a long time.
Well, I try to put something good in the world. I try to let my little light shine. I try to find the God light in everybody else and try to connect myself to that, because I just think there's goodness in everybody, and I try to play to that. And I try to, every day, I ask God to let me shine and radiate with his light and let me be a blessing to the world and glorify him somehow. And that's how I go about my day and have fun doing it.